Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for the Q&A of Voice Above Water. I hope you guys all loved the movie as much as we did. We're so excited to be talking to Dana Frankoff and Eric Ebner, the director and producer of the movie. So I'm very excited to just talk to you guys and see kind of what your inspiration was for making this and all of that. Before we get started, I did want to thank our major sponsors as well as the sponsors for this film, the Surfing for Hope Foundation. So thank you to all of our sponsors. And then also I just wanted to remind everyone to rate all the movies whenever you are done watching. They're going to help us determine our audience award at the end of the week. So remember to rate whenever you're done. So do you guys want to just kind of introduce yourselves and maybe how you two know each other, how this whole thing got started?
Yeah, definitely. I am the director of Voice Above Water, which we shot in March, so almost a year ago. Well, I guess a year by the time the festival happens.
Yeah.
And I thought about the idea. I basically wanted to help do something that really changed the way people thought about what was going on in the ocean and gave people inspiration to use their resources to pick up plastic and trash that was collecting in the water. I met Eric through his film, The Bowl, at the Save the Waves Film Festival. I saw it in San Francisco. A friend randomly met him in Peru and put us in touch. And at that time, the producer that I had on the project couldn't make it anymore. So Eric and I literally met at the LAX airport on the way to go shoot the film. So thankfully it worked out, but I had a good idea that it was from watching The Bowl. So.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Mhm.
And how did you guys meet way on, or like how did that part of it kind of all come to be?
Do you want to take this one, Eric?
Yeah, sure. Well, we had some scouting going down in Indonesia while we were getting ready to leave in the U.S. And I think we vetted a few areas, a few people, and when our DP came back with information, just one photo of Wayan, it was pretty like it was a done deal. The picture just said so much, and it was like, oh, we found our guy definitely. And we all kind of fell in love with him. We were nervous about what it would be like working with him, whether it'd be easy, whether it'd be hard. But we basically knew right away. It was love at first sight. It worked out. And I think we knew, right away, this is our guy. So
Yeah.
That's so cool. I mean, he's so like charming and just so lovable, and he's 90 years old, right? 90, probably older now, but like just how with it he still is. And I just loved how this whole movie was a totally different take on how to take care of our ocean. It was a very like personal, hands-on experience of him, having done this for nearly a century and seeing the evolution of it all like firsthand. So yeah, do you guys want to just talk at all about how it was working with him and just kind of hearing his experience with it all and how it all wraps around to the movie and what we can do moving forward?
Yeah. So working with him was a gem. I mean, everyone anywhere they are around the world at any age after they see the film is like, but how did you meet Wyon? And they want to know more about Wyon. So we were really lucky in that sense of meeting such a great character. And then the feedback I've heard from people has been really fascinating. I've had people that were born in 20,000 that started when Wyon started collecting trash, and then I've had people that are like, "Wow, this guy has literally seen the clean ocean to what it is now." And so it was really cool that he could provide a perspective of that for people like us, or maybe you don't think about it all the time when you go to the ocean and you see, wow, there's trash here. There wasn't when I came to this island or went on vacation here a year ago or two or whatever. And so he thankfully provided this really cool perspective that I think somebody only in their 90s could do. Unfortunately, it's not something that we want to continue. This collecting of trash, but hopefully, people will see this and they'll try to make a difference as well.
Totally.
yeah, and I think that what's really cool about Wayan and his story is that it's all, very, it's at a micro level, and it's all very local.
Right.
And so anything he's doing, although he is maybe very different than you and I, anything he's doing, anyone else can replicate in their own lives. And so it's not this like really daunting, ambitious plan, it's just this guy one step at a time doing what he can. So I think it's really easy to relate to, and to hopefully, change some attitudes about what we can do, in our own little areas or towns or
Totally.
environments.
Yeah. And just playing off of that, I mean, he mentions in the film something along the lines of like, what was it all worth if I did this, but no one else does? Like, it makes it, I don't know the word to use, pointless or something, but how can people like, what do you guys want people to do now? Like, what resources are there that people can just learn more about what they can do to, one, prevent it from being in there, but then also once it is in there, the pollution in the ocean, get rid of it? Like, is it as simple as, everyone just kind of paddle out on their, paddle boards and grab the bottles that you see? Yeah.
Something that has really changed my mind since making this film is just I'm way more mindful of where everything I use comes from and then where it goes. So I think just paying attention to that stuff. And then I realize like there's so much stuff that we already have that we can use instead of rebuying something that we're just going to throw away. So I carry forks and knives in my car if I need to do takeout. And it's crazy how much I end up using them, or even like a thing of Tupperware just in case, it's kind of ridiculous once you start evaluating how much stuff we go through every single day. And at the end of the film, there's a Surfrider petition, and they're a really great organization. When I started researching like how can this film make the most impact, it was really through reaching out to legislators and to big organizations and banning plastic. And so we were able to team up with Surfrider to have this petition at the end that is doing exactly that.
Cool. That's so cool. Dana, I think that this is your directorial debut. Is that correct? How has transitioning from your other, previous jobs with film and your other roles in that to being the director, how has that kind of been, and what were challenges and what were kind of some, awesome takeaways from that?
Yeah, it's a little hectic in the sense that I'm still doing my full-time job. I work for Pixar Animation Studios, and so I've been able to do this and they've been super supportive. I mean, they're the reason I started this film. I was able to raise the funds through them. But it's been really cool just honing in and having a voice. And, Pixar Films, the reason I work there is because I love their storytelling and I love everything all their films stand for. But to be able to narrow it down, being an ocean lover and being someone who's really concerned about the environment, spends a lot of time outside, to be able to really tell the story and then interact with people that also care about things like this or inspired by it. That's the biggest reward, is doing Q&As like this and seeing that other people are motivated and enjoyed the film and love it. And Eric was really great with Eric's, I don't know how many films you've done before this, but like gone through this experience before. And so it was cool, just like this whole festival network and finding this community is something that, we still figure out. Like, we're talking about doing a film tour once COVID is opening. And what I found is like, this is the best part.
So cool.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Is there anything else that people can do in their own lives to help in the fight against plastics?
Yeah, there is, which we've discovered. When I started, I was, obviously passionate about the idea and, believed in the message, but I wasn't necessarily a conservationist by any means. I knew that plastics and plastic pollution was bad, but I knew, that I wanted to do better, should do better, wanted to support companies and organizations that would do better. But I wasn't that different than the average person, I don't think. So it's been fun for me throughout the process learning some of the stuff. And one thing that I've learned and like been easy to translate in my life is the idea of the big three plastics. And those are the three most common items that you'll find that are scattered everywhere throughout the world, and they do a lot of damage. And the big three are plastic straws, plastic bags, and plastic water bottles. And so those three are things that you can easily, replace in your own life. You can have biodegradable solutions to those. And so if we can all focus on getting rid of those three first, apparently that makes a huge difference. So that's been a good change to my mindset, and that's what we've been encouraging people to do. And hopefully, we start making those decisions, choosing not to buy the bottled water, choosing not to use the straws, and then the industry kind of gets behind that because they will probably follow the money before they follow
Totally.
the idealism. So that's what we're doing, and that's been really interesting for me to learn about. And so that's what we're trying to push people to do as well, as reaching out to their local legislation.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And I love whenever there's a movie that, like, I mean, this movie was so beautiful, like visually. I mean, a lot of the shots, reminded me of Life of Pi, like coming like on the ocean and everything. But it was also just beautiful in the sense of it really did capture just wanting to make a change and having like hearing from someone that did inspire wanting to make change and who had inspired like his grandchildren and just other people in Indonesia to kind of start making that change. So I just love that your film kind of does incorporate that and does, push for just bettering the earth and all of that. So thank you also for giving those three examples and just some action steps for people to take. But do you guys have any just final comments or ways for people to follow you or stay in touch or new projects you're working on or anything like that?
Yeah, so there is an Instagram page at Voice Above Water that'll reach out to us, and so you can feel free to follow that or put a message on there. And then myself am working on a project on ocean farming. Some women in Hawaii that are doing really important things for the environment, using traditional techniques with modern science to grow seaweed and mussels and help the whole fish life in Hawaii. And it's something that surprisingly, if we focus more on that than land-based farming, could really do a lot for climate change. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And you can always reach out. My email is dana@turningtidesfilms.com.
Cool.
Yeah, and I've been working on a little short documentary about an artist that uses discarded plastics to make installation art pieces. And so that's been a fun transition from Voice Above Water dealing with plastics to again dealing with it. She was covered to National Geographic issues, and so that's been a fun passion project. So yeah, it's been a fun change in my life, and I'm learning more and more, and it's fun to be a spokesperson for this type of stuff. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you so much for having us. Hope everyone enjoyed the film.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for taking the time to just do this Q&A and kind of talk about your inspiration behind it and everything like that. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys.
Awesome.